Simple and clean. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back to my channel, guys. And I'm bringing this video today because I have, I guess, a finalized deck list that I feel very comfortable with, IRL and on Sim. Obviously, Sim's kind of stupid with their statistics, but with IRL practice, it shows off a lot of its strengths, and I wanted to go through that with you guys. Call it BTR because it's better. No. Alright, so I really liked using the Law Searcher, but I feel like him being a three cost unit is a little too easy to get rid of. For Sakazuki, it's an easy target for Polly. It's a super easy target for Gadatsu and Katakuri or enel. So excuse me, sorry. I opted out to taking him out. The main struggle with this deck, obviously, across most builds, if not all of them, is hand size. But I bumped up my queen up to 4 so that I can sort of get rid of that gap in there, or try to fill in some of the weakness that it had. This is a throwback to my 4.5 list where I was using Ein. Ein has put in a lot of work. It's really good. The reason why I'm using Ein is because the on play effect is really strong, just getting that Rested Dawn added. There's been a couple times going second, I'll Ein into Ein, so I'll double Ein, so I've got 2 5Ks on the board and I have 3 Dawn left over after I do like my talk and all that. So she's really good. She helps fill in like empty turns, if that makes sense. I know the red purple law players will understand what that is. So like, I guess turns where you have the conditions to bottom something, but you didn't burn enough Dawn for you to get value out of it without burning some active Dawn. So Ein is obviously a good pocket, or in that spot. There's Ein, there's Zoro, obviously Zorojuro, because you don't want to hard play your Saji Penguin, you don't want to hard play Beppo or Law or anything like that, right? But she helps with that empty space, that empty slot, you know. So, and she helps with ramping too. I noticed with the deck, you want that on play value when it comes to this deck, because Sakazuki is such like an annoying asshole in the meta right now. You don't really get to have your you can't really build a board like for the late game, I guess you could say. So like your on attackers. So like Searcher Law is an on attacker, right? But I hardly was able to get like a search off with him, and if I did, I either whiffed or it wasn't that impactful to begin with. So then you're kind of just chilling there like, you know, like it's good that you got your one, like your Beppo, or if you got a Sachi Penguin if you're lucky enough, or Gamma Knife if you're running that. But it didn't feel too good, to be honest. And speaking on that, I'm running 4 Fire Fists. It's an insane card. Yeah, I know I'm not running Gamma Knife, but I feel like if you're playing the deck and you get to the point of the game where they start throwing down their big monsters, their schmeedy units, by that time you should be killing them. And if you commit too much to getting rid of that, then you spent all those cards in your hand, which, by the way, is fucking like terrible because, you know, the deck has no draw. So you spend all those resources, all those cards out of your hand just to get rid of it, and then they'll just play another one. Or they'll like retaliate at your board afterwards, and it's just like, it feels bad. And then I feel like that's where a lot of red purple law players like struggle or like start to lose, is when they invest too much into, or they go ham on the leader ability, or they invest too much in getting rid of a big unit when they can just use all that Dawn to just gun it for their face, you know? So, because of that, you kind of just want to ignore them at that point of the game and just start going face. They can't really do much. All they need is a blocker, but like we have many ways of getting rid of blockers in this deck, so that's not really a problem or an issue. I'm running 4 Radical Beams. Now, it looks a little troll, but like, playing it actually feels really good. It helps with the defense later in the game because there are so many pieces in this deck that you do not want to trash for guarding. So Rad Beam helps with that. We get to 2 pretty easily since we're a 4 health leader anyway. So It's really simple. We're running two Sanji, obviously, for the yellow matchup. Enel and Katakuri like to stall, which is weird because I've come across a lot of Katakuri that's trying to like lifestyle, but at that point you just keep swinging at their fucking face. What are they gonna do? They can't not hit you at a certain point of like the game. They have to start applying damage to you. Enel can do it because he's a fucking bitch, but Katakuri has to be aggressive with you. So Katakuri players, I don't know why you guys are doing that, but please stop. It's weird and it doesn't work. But other than that, everything's kind of like maxed out on the quantities of the card. The only thing being Sanji. Pretty solid. I had a question asked to me because of one of the videos that I made on a game where I didn't swing with like a Zoro or a Zorojiro. And I did that because, and I can't recall which video it was at the moment, so forgive me for that, but there are a lot of moments, especially when you're getting stalled, where you can't use the Zorojiro because he only works if you have 3 less life. So not swinging with him is like very, very, very like it's funny because a lot of people get like knowledge checked because they'll get stalled and they'll still swing because they're so used to it, and then there's like you don't get the Dawn, but you can still swing 5 or just swing in general. But yeah, no, so like when you get stalled, I kind of just like sit him there. With Rush Zoro in particular, he's mostly a pressure tool. So like you may not think that swinging 5k won't matter, but swinging 5k, if it's a 5k leader, matters a huge, like a lot, because they now have to take that into account for something that they didn't see coming or something that's instantaneous that they can't react to. That's why Rush is so broken. But yeah, so either rips a 1k, might rip a 2k, or they might not have counter at all, and you hit, and then now you're closer to killing them. And the only times I don't actively swing with Zoro is if it's like I'm trying to build, or I'm trying to set up the kill turn, or yeah, I'm trying to set up the kill turn, and or I'm making it to where if they do want to get rid of my aggression, then they have to burn resources to do so. I feel like, especially against Sakazuki, Zoro's swinging at him no matter what, by the way, but in the off chance that I don't swing with Zoro, he has to have the cards in order to get rid of it. He has to Hound Blaze it, he has to Borsalino it, he has to loot fucking any card that deck plays, he has to do something about it, right? But that takes cards out of his hand to get rid of. So, I feel like, especially in the Sakazuki matchup, also another tip, swing everything at them. I don't care if you have 2 kids on the board, a queen and a kid, 2 blocker laws, swing with that motherfucker, because it's not going to live to see the light of day if you do not. So it's not even going to get its block out. So you might as well just swing with it, right? Because if you call this out and you're just like, oh, okay, it lives for a turn miraculously, crazy, I know, right? And then it's just chilling there. It's like, oh, well, now I have a blocker. And then once it comes to their turn, there's like, haha, Great Eruption, Lucci, pop. And it's like, well, not only did you not attack with it, it didn't even get the block. And now it's just a wasted card. So please, 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 Red Purple Law players, swing with your blockers. They're going to swing at it anyway, or they're going to try to get rid of it anyway. So you might as well swing with it, and you get value out of it because they start burning cards. They're not just going to take everything they get swing, because then they'll die, obviously. That's every deck, though. But yeah, especially kids and queens, put a Dawn on them, 7k. That's huge. They have to drop 2 cards minimum, or they just eat a hit. Like getting hit by these two Girthquakes, they put in the work, they put in the damage, and yeah, I've practiced this deck a lot. It feels pretty solid against yellow decks too. Enel is still, the worst, but I feel like if you can at least get like a kid or 2 on the board and like a normal 5k attacker, you just kind of like bait and poke them out, and then try to get them to use their leader ability. And then that's when you kind of go a little bit harder, because then it's like, oh shit, unless they have a Yamato in their hand, which they some fucking reason always have at least 3 Yamatos in their hand without being able to draw it, they have to bring counter in it because then they won't have any life to bounce off of, right? So definitely when you like pushing early damage and then um dealing with them mid to late, I feel like a good start would be like by the time it's like turn 3 or 4, when they're on their 8 dawn, they should already be at 1. They should already be at 1. You want to hold you want to hold your Gordons in your hand and or your Fire Fists in your hand until when they hit Gadot or if they hit Holy or Ohm, and then just start applying pressure. You want a hard mulligan for your Rampers because which we now have another one, which is super good because now we aren't only relying on these two and Kid for ramping. You also have Ein for that. That's also why another reason why she's so good right now is because she gives you that extra Dawn that you might be missing in a turn, which could turn it around. There is, I guess, a little bit of a controversy where there's a lot of people who want to play Ace in the deck. I played it at first. It's okay. I liked it when I got it off. Otherwise, it's kind of just sitting in my hand because getting to 7 Dawn against popular belief is quite hard. Because unless you actively save it, like hard save it, it's really hard to like get up to 7 like confidently and still have a play to do. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, if you are running Ein, you go second, you play her on curve, you got 5 Dawn, turn 3, you can play Ace like that. So like this deck could use Ace. Like I think you can probably get rid of 2 Rad Beam and put in 2 Ace, and then have like the God curve of going second and then Ein into Ace. But like that's I don't know, it just doesn't feel necessary, you know? And sure, it's like, ooh, Ace is a 7k body, hard to get rid of, but it's like against Sakazuki, that ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. And I would rather put that 7 Dawn into my aggression and game plan of trying to get my opponent down in cards and or life a lot more consistently and confidently. Try to use your Dawn sparingly. You don't want to go too hard on it when it comes to getting rid of their board. Sure, it's really nice, but you know what? Sometimes it's okay for them to oh, my apologies, my audience. It's okay for them to keep at least. It's like I guess it's like the same for Sakazuki players where it's like you want to get rid of their board, but you don't have to get rid of it. Like they play one card, you're locked onto that shit. It gotta go. No, you don't have to do that. Because there have been a couple games where I've actually won because I would just like look at the board, say I have like a unit or two on the board in my leader, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stock a bunch of Dawn on my characters and my leader and just hammer face. So now you get to save your Dawn, and they have to worry about your board. So their aggression their aggression is off of your face and it's now on your board. And like I said, Rad Beam is usually used for protecting your board anyway. And getting to 2 life is easy, especially if it's like a yellow matchup and you want a Sanji. So it's like, sure, swing at my board, Rad Beam, +4 for 1 Dawn. Again, silly fucking card, but yeah, like protecting your board is very important in this deck because how bad the draw power is. Obviously that issue gets a little resolved once we hit set 6, but for now, until set 6, obviously, we are going on a tempo. So it's a tempo deck, obviously, or fast mid-range as a lot of people like to call it, because you're kind of just like trying to shit out units on the board as much as possible so that when it comes time to like pressuring and stuff, you have like a lot of hits in, you know? But yeah, that is my deck and my deck review. If you guys want me to, I can have a more thorough like guide on how to play the deck, what you want to see, what you want to search for, how the matchups are, the matchup spread, what to do in each matchup. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be happy to make a guide like that. I love this deck so much. it is a great move from Red Green Law because Red Green Law is getting shafted to Kingdom Come by all the, like the by Sakazuki and enel's fucking casino bullshit. And Red Purple Law does quite good into that bullshit, so this is the ride or die right now. But yes, thank you guys for watching my video. I greatly appreciate the support. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.